Hello random people on the internet, my name is Banana, and today we are talking about the new rework to the spooky event. Hypixel Skyblock said, hey guys, we're gonna take the spooky event and we're actually gonna make it sort of good. And I mean, that's exactly what I wanted in the game. And this new version of the spooky event is actually way better for getting skeleton horses for every single player, especially people who are solo, because I know the old methods required a lot of setup for some people and it could get screwed over by a lot of people, but this is pretty doable solo if you do it right, and in this video I'm going to tell you that. So if you want a lot of candy or if you want a skeleton horse pet, stick around because I'm going to give you the methods after telling you a lot about the items that were added. So the Fearmonger is what I'm going to go to first, and the majority of this stuff is exactly the same, but we have two new items. It's going to be the Candy Relic, which is just going to be an upgrade from the Candy Artifact. It's going to cost 1,024 purple candy, so that is going to run you about like 10 million coins depending on the price of candy. I don't know how much it just dropped. I spent about 10 mil on it because I bought it at like 10k per. But it's going to be a sort of cheap legendary talisman compared to a lot of the other legendary talismans in the game. And it's going to give you better drop chance for candy, so you should definitely get this. And then you have the Echo Locator. Now, this thing is going to point you towards Mega Bats, which are new things that spawn during the spooky event. They're not that good. You can still buy this thing. You can still go for Mega Bats, but I wouldn't recommend it because they're really not that good. Now, onto the mobs. So I'm just going to run a clip of me killing a bunch of the mobs that are in the spooky event. And you can see right now, there is just hordes and hordes of enemies around me because there's just a lot of new mobs that are going to spawn at night. At night, there will be a brand new just horde of creatures. There's going to be spirits, there's going to be scary Jerrys, there's going to be trick-or-treaters, there's going to be wither skeletons called wither gourds because they throw pumpkins at you, and they're all going to drop some things. They're going to drop just some basic stuff. They're going to drop candy. They're going to drop like ectoplasm from some of them. And then they're also going to drop these things called blast-o-lanterns. Now, you can see it's taking me a while to kill these guys, and that's because they have a different health system. They actually work like the Grinch does, where you can only deal like one hit of damage to them per thing. So a lot of these guys have 11 hearts. They have like 12. They're going to take a lot of hits to do if you're not doing it right. But there are a couple ways to increase your damage against these guys. For one, you can actually use the Bat Pet, and the Bat Pet is going to have a new perk. It got changed. The old perk was that it used to give you 0 cooldown on your grappling hook, or it used to give you like minus 50% cooldown on your grappling hook. Now it has a perk called Wings of Steel, where you're going to deal 50% more damage to spooky enemies during the spooky festival. And you may be thinking, oh, you're only doing 1 damage, so buffing it to 1.5 isn't that amazing. Well, do I have the 2 items for you? Well, you got the Ghoul Buster, which is going to be an iron hoe, and it can deal 100% more damage to spooky enemies during the spooky festival. And then you have the Pumpkin Launcher, which is going to use blast-o-lanterns like I talked about earlier, and it's going to deal 2 damage to spooky enemies. So I would personally recommend getting the Pumpkin Launcher because the Ghoul Buster is going to be 1 enemy. You're going to be meleeing 1 guy, and that 1 guy is going to be dying it's going to be dying faster than normal, but it's only 1 person. Blast-o-lanterns are not too hard to come across, and if you aren't getting a lot of blast-o-lanterns, they're also not hard to craft. The crafting recipe for them is only 8 green candy along with a pumpkin guts, which you can get from a trick-or-treat chest. But storing the blast-o-lanterns in the pumpkin launcher and then just shooting those at the guys is going to kill them the fastest because the AoE on these is insane. I'm going to roll a clip right now of me just killing a lot of guys with the pumpkin blaster, and you can see I'm just shredding through every single enemy that I'm fighting over there. And you can see I'm actually spawning in these things called trick-or-treat chests. Trick-or-treat chests are actually something that you spawn in randomly. It's like a 1 in 100 chance apparently. Might be a little bit higher because I got a bunch of them throughout the event, and I definitely did not kill as many mobs as like a 1 in 100 chance would have given me. but this is going to give you the option to roll for a trick or a treat. And the trick is going to spawn in a witch, and it's going to give you a little bit of green candy, but you don't want to get the trick. You want to get the treat, because the treat has a lot of options on what it can give you. It can give you a bunch of purple candy, it can give you some green candy, it can give you some of the normal drop items, like it can give you the ectoplasm and the blaster lanterns, but the main things from the treat chests are actually pretty good. The pumpkin guts, I believe you might be able to get from normal mobs, but I know for a fact you can get it from the treat chests, and this is just going to be helping you craft. And then you got rock candy, which is going to give the sweet reforge to accessories. It's not an amazing reforge, it just gives health, defense, and speed, but maybe tanks could use it. Not really sure. It's not that great, but it is a new reforge. You got the candied reforge. Stat wise, it's not that amazing, but while you are in the spooky event, the candied reforge will give 1% better chance to get candy on every single armor piece you have it on. So that's going to be 4% better chance to get candy. So that's going to be really good if you are grinding stuff. You got Candy the fish, which is just going to be one of those special fish. It's going to be just a normal drop, as they all are. And then you have the Bat Person Talisman. This is probably the best thing that you can get from the chest, because you're actually just getting a new talisman, and that talisman can get upgraded. The upgrades are a little bit expensive. It's going to be a lot of ectoplasm, and it's going to end up getting you the Bat Person artifact. And this Bat Person artifact is really good. It gives you defense, strength, and intel for each bat you have summoned. And that could be amazing depending on how good of a bat tornado you can get up. If you didn't know, you can sort of go like this with your bats and just get a lot of bats summoned in. So you could be dealing a lot of damage if you have it set up right. I don't know how viable that's actually going to be, but I mean, it's a talisman, so why not try it out? And last but not least, you can get the Spooky Cupcake. This is going to increase the strength by 30 on your pet and your speed by 20. This is really situational. It's not good for damage, but if you're looking for a just speed type pet, if you have like an ocelot that's fully leveled or a monkey that's fully leveled, getting 20 speed could be okay on it. It's really not that amazing though. That item is not that great, but that's what you can get from chests. Strategy-wise, I would recommend just going and farming in the crypts during the day. This is going to be where you can get the highest volume of mobs. I would argue that you can just quickly just run around. You can either use like a frozen scythe, or you can use a bow to just be shooting these guys over and over, just running around with a bat pet out and your bat person armor on. And then when night comes, I would recommend warping to the dark auction and then just killing mobs over here. I mean, you can just shred through a lot of mobs, especially if you're using the pumpkin launcher with the blaster lanterns, or if you're just using normal blaster lanterns. Once again, it doesn't really matter, but you're just going to be getting a lot of kills over here, and you should be able to get a horse with that. This is definitely a lot of candy that you can get if you do it efficiently. During the last event, I only farmed at night because I was sort of just looking for content. I don't really care about skeleton horse. I've already gotten 2 skeleton horses in my lifetime. I don't really need a third. But hopefully this new change can get you guys a lot more horses, a lot more candy, which means more black cat pets, more talismans, just a lot of cool things coming from candy, obviously. But one more thing, there might be more stuff coming from this spooky event. And why I say that is that if you go over to the Malik NPC, I'm going to run over as I'm talking, but the Malik NPC is the blacksmith, the dungeon blacksmith, and you can check the essence guide over here. So if we go into the essence guide, you can see in the undead essence, there's a new armor set called werewolf armor. I don't really know what werewolf armor is going to come from, but I don't think it's going to be a dungeon armor, because this seems very spooky themed, and I mean, this looks like a okay armor set. Right now, it doesn't have a bonus on it. Like every other armor set that they've released recently has some kind of like full set bonus or even piece bonus, so that could be a bug, but this is giving 10 ferocity per piece, and ferocity is stupidly overpowered right now. Ferocity is really good, and if you can get that on an armor set, that's just going to be insane. So watch out for this armor set. And also watch out for the Soul Whip, which is a new thing you can see in Wither Essence. You can see it looks like just a fishing rod right now. Historically, looking at the Zombie Commander Whip, fishing rod weapons have been pretty bad. But maybe that one will end up being better once we see like an ability on it, because I can't imagine they'd add a new fishing rod thing called the Soul Whip that has no ability. I don't know what they're really doing there. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I just wanted to talk about all of the stuff from the current spooky event. If there is anything new added in the coming days, maybe we got something coming tomorrow on Halloween to add to the spooky event, to add that werewolf and the Soul Whip, I will make a video on it. You can expect me to be grinding out content anytime there is an update. So definitely subscribe if you want to watch that. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out.